In the third on point, we expose the BNP's hypocrisy and how they are using minorities for electoral gains. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party Secretary General Fakhrul Islam Alamgir has triggered a controversy. He has said that the BNP goal is not secularism but what he described as equal rights for people of all religion and belief. In an interview with Qatar-based broadcaster Al Jazeera, Mirza Fakhrul argued that secularism is not suitable for Bangladeshi politics. Conveniently citing country's Muslim majority demography, he insisted that minority rights can be protected without principle of secularism, a position that has drawn scrutiny in a country with a long history of religious and political tension. While defending the BNP record, Mirza Fakhrul claimed that his party has done more than any other to protect the minorities. He said the attack following political transitions are linked to political rivalries and not religion, a claim made without addressing documented incidents involving minority communities. He also said that the issues that the Bangladesh confront is because of the narrative that is being built. And in his interview, the journalist pointed out and cited assessments by international rights groups including Human Rights Watch, which had described 2001-2006 period when BNP and Jamaat-e-Islami were in power as a dangerous time for minorities in Bangladesh. Mirza Fakhrul dismissed these findings. On leadership, Mirza Fakhrul strongly defended Tarique Rahman, dismissing more than 80 cases against him, most of them corruption related, as a politically motivated. He claimed that none of the allegations against Tarique Rahman have been proven. Responding to the accusation of extortion, violence and criminal activity involving BNP grassroots workers, Mirza Fakhrul stopped short of accepting institutional leadership responsibility. On the other hand, the BNP election manifesto lays out an ambitious political reset. At the core of the document is the proposal for Constitutional Reform Commission to review rollback what the BNP describes as undemocratic amendments, including restoring provisions for referendums. On elections, the BNP promises the return of the non-partisan caretaker government, a restructured election commission and a complete shift back to the paper ballot. Rejecting electronic voting machines. On rights and governance, the BNP pledges the repeal of Digital Security Act, Special Powers Act, formation of independent media and judicial commissions, and zero tolerance for corruption, including a white paper on money laundering. The party makes tall promises of full religious freedom with constitutional protection for minority communities. The contrast between BNP's right-focused manifesto and the stance taken by Mirza Fakhrul in the public interviews has sharpened questions of the party's credibility. While the document promises protection for minorities and inclusive governance, Fakhrul's decision to deflect allegations of past communal violence by blaming the Indian media and dismissing international assessment has left concerns over unaccountability unresolved. On this issue, I am joined by Ambassador Veena Sikri, former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, and Salahuddin Shoaib Chaudhry, editor Blitz. Ambassador Sikri, this jewel which has been dropped by Mr. Fakhrul Islam, saying that Bangladesh doesn't need to be a secular country. What does it mean?
Well, quite clearly, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, the BNP, is following the Jamaat-e-Islami on this one. They have given up secularism. There is no word on so-called constitutional protection for the minority. It just said that everybody will have the right to worship, but there is no protection for the minorities at all. So, in fact, it is very disappointing that that this clause has been removed and specifically removed. Actually, the BNP manifesto specifically says that it doesn't mention secularism at all, and clearly indicating that they don't want that word to be there. So this is actually the unique feature of Bangladesh, has been its commitment to secularism, to democracy, to nationalism, social justice. But all these four pillars of the 1972 constitution have got short shrift here. Of course, on this whole business of the referendum, the Constitutional Reforms Commission, it's a very strange position that the BNP has taken, because they're talking about a constitutional reforms position, but they haven't talked about the referendum. That means, because according to the Yunus regime, the Constitutional Reforms Commission has already done its work. They already have a July charter. So there is no mention of this kind of a position there. So it's a very generalized, full of verbiage, full of general words, but very little specific in there. And the whole question about the violence of the last 18 months, and in fact we know the minorities in many cases blame the BNP for the attacks on the minorities, because the Jamaat-e-Islami was very astute. They kept themselves in the background, although in many villages the minorities blame the Jamaat also But the point is that the BNP has got the brunt of the blame for this. And he's talking about upper house will be proposed, but all this is already there in the referendum and the July charter. So it's a little strange. I mean, is he accepting the July charter? Is he saying a yes vote for the referendum? Because he hasn't mentioned the referendum, he hasn't mentioned no vote or yes vote. But he talks about many of the issues which are there, like upper house of parliament and the kind of
No,
issues.
madam, I'm actually more, more focused on the word he used, that the Bangladesh doesn't need to be secular. So, do you think, Shoaib, that it's going to be dropped if BNP comes to power, Jamaat comes to power? And what happens to the Bengali identity? Do you think that it has been overrun by the religious identity now?
Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma. One of the core principles of the foundation of Bangladesh is secularism. BNP, Jamaat Islami, and the Islamists, they don't believe in secularism. And BNP, in its 31-point electoral manifesto, they have said categorically that they would add the words unwavering trust in Allah to the constitution, meaning whether anyone is not Muslim, he or she will also have to have trust in Allah, meaning they are forcing the entire nation in becoming Muslims, Islamization of Bangladesh. And when Fakhrul Islam Alamgir said that secularism does not suit Bangladesh, it's not suitable for Bangladesh, in his views, I think he is correct. Because Fakhrul Islam Alamgir, Jamaat-e-Islami, Muslim Brotherhood, Al-Qaeda, Islamic State, Yunus, all have a common agenda to turn Bangladesh into a caliphate. And these are the signals of turning Bangladesh into a caliphate. And before concluding, I'd like to add one more thing, that Jamaat-e-Islam's Amir Shafiqur Rahman, he said that they are not supporting empowerment of women because it is not accepted by Allah. So women will be treated like slaves. And please remember that this so-called election, it is taking place by pushing 35%, more than 35% of the voters away from the electoral process. So I think whether it's BNP or Jamaat Islami or Yunus, all are having as common agenda to hijack Bangladesh sovereignty, to hijack Bengali identity, and turn Bangladesh into another rogue nation like Pakistan.
Ambassador Sikri, I mean to say, Shoaib has really portrayed a very worrisome picture. I mean, if that's the future and the polls are happening on 12th of February, what are we looking at from the New Delhi's perspective? Then what becomes India's challenge?
Yes, I think one must remember that there are some 2 crore individual Bangladeshi citizens who are from the minority communities, and they have faced a very difficult time. I would say that if you even for a second we go beyond the minority communities as well, the women, all the women, I think they are facing a terrible time. So women and the religious minorities have been under attack for the last 18 months. And we know that the women have really expressed themselves in anguish over what has happened. For example, I can give 2 examples of that. First of all, there was this proposal to have singing teachers and music teachers in every school, college, and university. And then suddenly, under the pressure of Jamaat-e-Islami, this decision was reversed. And then there was then they said we'll bring religious teachers. Now the university students actually erupted against that. And what they said when they were demonstrating against that, it never came in the media because the media is completely muzzled in Bangladesh. They said that for us, culture and religion are 2 sides of the same coin. Our culture is as important as our religion. So, culture, language, music, dance is very important.
No, on this, let me ask Shoaib. Shoaib, where do you draw your courage? How do you draw your courage? Where do you draw your courage when you speak the truth on an Indian channel? I admire your forthrightness.
No, you see, when a journalist speaks the truth to any illegitimate regime, he or she becomes dangerous. Yunus is afraid of me. I am not afraid of Yunus. But one more thing, very important. Today, Fakhrul Islam Alamgir is saying secularism is not suitable for Bangladesh. Take my words for granted. Tomorrow they will say democracy is not suitable for Bangladesh. They will say human rights is not suitable for Bangladesh. They have touched the first phase, secularism. Then they will go for human rights. Then they will go for democracy. So this is a process of Islamization of Bangladesh. Bangladesh is going to become a caliphate. And 12th February, the so-called election, it's a drama. It's an absolute drama to fool the entire world. But I can also tell that at the end of the day, you will see, I will see, Her Excellency will see, whatever is the election result, BNP, Jamaat, Islamis, Yunus, all together will form a national government, and they will place Yunus into the position of president, and he will become the supreme leader, and others, including the BNP leaders and Jamaat leaders, they will be a parliament like North Korea or Iran. Bangladesh really is at the age of, I mean, Bangladesh very existence is in, I mean, how to say, I cannot even utter this word. My country's existence is in life support.
Ambassador Sikri, when you were posted in Dhaka, I really want to know, ask this question to you. Did you ever feel there's this deep shift in the Bangladeshi society towards radicalization when you were there as a High Commissioner?
I think first of all, I would like to fully agree with what Mr. Salahuddin Chaudhary has said. He's very, very accurate in his assessment, and it's a matter of great worry. When I was there during 2003 to 2006, it was the government of Begum Khalida Zia, and Jamaat-e-Islami was a partner, an alliance partner in the government. So they were in the government, they held ministerial portfolios and so on. And of course, they were trying to change without changing the constitution. All their actions were against the spirit of secularism. But the people of Bangladesh, not only Awami League supporters, all the people, the average person, even the business community, they were very, very forthright in saying that Bangladeshis believe in secularism, Bangladeshis do not accept radical Islam, and Bangladeshis do not want any form of radical Islam. They support the constitution. The support was for the 1972 constitution and the four principles of democracy, secularism, nationalism, and social justice. And so that feeling among the people was very, very strong. Dhaka University was a strong, I would say, headquarters of liberalism. It was all a great, factor with all the students wanting a liberal life. It's all changed. I mean, and in the last 18 months, it's changed completely. I was giving an example, I think one time I'm going to show that in 2008, when the army conducted the elections with national ID cards, it was the freest and fairest election ever held in Bangladesh. It's given. And Awami League won with 3/4 of the vote. So they got the three-fourths of the seats. They got 50% vote, but about 3/4 of the seats in the parliament. So, it shows that a free, fair, and participatory election is the most important.
But that is not being allowed, madam. That will not happen on 12th of February. 35% of the people. 35% of the people are not allowed to participate in the election because they vote for Sheikh Hasina.
Yes, so that is the key point. Will the fake election results of 12th February, will they be accepted by the majority of the people of Bangladesh? This is the key question. Because the point is that they're trying to debar, as you said, a substantial portion, 40-50% at least, because Awami League has currently a no vote campaign, and they are following that vigorously. In addition to that, there are a number of people who, may not be supporters of Awami League, but they support the 1972 constitution. And they too will probably not go to vote.
Okay.
Themselves. So will the majority of the people support or accept the election results? Okay. This is the question.
Okay. So, Shoaib, do you think that Awami League has the chance to make a comeback? Do they have a chance to make a comeback?
In fact, unfortunately, I don't see. Because Awami League leadership, Sheikh Hasina, she is not visibly showing the signs of letting her party come back, and she is letting other people handle the party affairs who are not capable of running, doing this thing during the crisis period, at this crisis period. So I don't see any return of Awami League unless Sheikh Hasina comes forward, takes the leadership, does these things that she has done in the past, Only then Awami League can come back. Otherwise, I think Awami League has already set itself in the self-suicide mode.
Madam, do you agree?
I think there is two things. One is the Awami League as a political party. Now, clearly, I think the Awami League is looking to reorganize. I think Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has not said anything, but her son, Sanjeev Wajid Joy, has given several interviews, including to Al Jazeera and so on, where he said that this was in any case going to be his mother's last term, and they are looking beyond that. But of course, it's
Okay.
one thing to actually do on the ground. That's one thing. Second thing is that the idea of Awami League, the idea means the idea of a secular country, a democratic
Okay.
country. That idea is very, very strong in Bangladesh. Now, I think the Awami League does have a natural mantle to conduct those political processes, but how it will work out, will there be
My
more violence? Will there be more instability? That is the critical question after
But
the
my,
election.
my observation, I'm really run short of time, but my observation is that I have not seen a huge protest that has come out in the support of the idea of 1971. And the last so many months, there have been protests in favor of what has happened, but there has been no counter protest that I could see that there is some rallying figure. I think that is the missing part in the larger checkbook. Ma'am, I've really run short of time. I would have had a longer conversation.
One sentence. But we have, while saying that, we have to take account of the dictatorship that has been there for 18 months. They have suppressed all protests. They have
Okay.
put thousands of people in jail, the media, the bureaucracy. So that is why there is no
Okay.
protest being a
Okay.
manifest.
Okay. Thank you.